Hey everybody, Kevin here, WQ9F. Thanks for joining me here on WQ9F Ham Radio. Today, I want to take a look at something that came in a mystery box. And if you've watched the channel for a while, you know that I like getting mystery boxes. And a while ago, I bought a mystery box from Main Trading Company, and that mystery box said it was going to have a radio in it. And so I bought it, waited for a while, it showed up, and in that box was this. This is the Icom IC-V80. Now, this radio, I'm pretty positive has been discontinued. There is a newer version of this radio that they currently offer, which is the Icom IC-V86. Now, this radio right here is a 2-meter VHF only radio. It is only an analog transceiver, and it's pretty basic. Now, it does have some pros and cons, but I want to take a look at a couple things with this radio, namely, knowing me, how to program it, because I think that's super important to know how to do. And then I have a couple toys that I want to hook up to this that I've been kind of trying to, I've been wanting to mess around with. The first one is going to be this right here. This is the Surecom SW102 VHF UHS SWR and Wattmeter. You can see I already have on the end of it here. This is just a dummy load. See if we can get that there. This is a dummy load that goes that I bought to go along with it. It's a 25 watt dummy load. I've only used this for HTs, so it never really sees more than 10 watts at a time, so that's enough for that. The second thing is this right here. This is the TinySA Ultra. I'm pretty excited to have picked this up over the holidays. Both of these came from Amazon. The Surecom I've had for a little while. The TinySA Ultra I just picked up over the holiday season here. I think they had it on a Black Friday or a Cyber Monday sale or something like that I picked it up. All the items that I used today, I'm going to have a link down below to my Amazon affiliate link if you want to take a look at those and see what they are, as well as anything else that I end up using today. Now, if you'd like to support the channel, the best way to do that is go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'd much appreciate that, and I really appreciate all of you that have subscribed to the channel because we are almost at 1,500 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that button right now. And that's going to be important because at 1,500 subscribers, I'm going to go ahead and do a giveaway. And I have some antennas to give away, as well as a couple more HTs and stuff like that, that I want to give away to my subscribers as a thank you for being subscribed to the channel. I also have a Buy Me a Coffee, and I'll put a link down below in the description if you want to help support the channel with a small donation. That is always appreciated. And it's going to be important to be subscribed because you're going to watch for the end of this video. I actually have 3 of these radios, and I'm going to go ahead and give them away to people that watch this video today. I bought 3 mystery boxes from Main Trading over that course of like 3 months. I think it was over the summer, and each one of them had one of these in it. So I have 3 of these radios today. I don't have a use for them. I didn't expect. I don't know what I expected. It's a mystery box, but now I end up with 3 of these, not 1, not 2. But there's a third one over on the table over there. So I'm going to give these away at the end of the video, so make sure you stay tuned. But for now, let's go ahead and take a look and see what these radios look like. All right, so here we have our box right here. Now, I'm trying a little something different with the camera. If you like what I'm doing here, let me know. I've been having some problems with my normal camera that I use, which is a GoPro Hero 11. I have a photography camera as well, which is a Canon 80D. And so I'm actually recording this with my Canon. I think it probably is going to turn out better. If you like it, let me know down in the comments. Or if you, whatever you use, if you record or you make videos, let me know what you use for a camera because I might be in the market for a new one. Alright, so here's our box. This is our Icom V-80. If I go ahead and open this up, inside of here we have our paperwork. Now the funny thing about this radio is you get a quick start guide. Alright, the quick start guide literally is just like, it's a one sheet, it's like a poster. So that's how we get into our basicness of this radio. Inside of here, the next thing we have is our antenna. This is a true rubber duck antenna. We have a nice rubberized antenna here. This is like old school, man. B and C connector on the end. We've got a belt clip, as well as the belt clip there is inside of here. There's a little cover that goes over where the speaker mic connection is. So that's what these two screws are for. We have the actual radio itself. So real basic. And then here is the battery, and this is actually not a battery. This is the battery tray. So going with the basic theme of this radio, the battery tray takes 6 AA batteries. This does not come with a desk charger. It does not come with a lithium ion or anything like that. Now doing a little research, they did have available with this radio, you could buy a nickel metal hydride battery or a lithium ion battery as well as a charger, but this radio does not come with any of that. It comes with a battery tray. Alright, so I've got one taken out of the box here now. I put the battery in, but the battery is literally a battery tray. So I've got some new Duracell batteries in here, AA. There are 6 of them. That just clips onto the back. This thing here, it's really a good, like, nice click on that. Now, being a basic radio, this is going to have some cons to it. The first one, this is the screen right here. All right, this screen is not. The screen's not amazing. All right, it's like a calculator screen. The buttons, they're not clicky. They're kind of a little mushy. It's a VHF transceiver, so that's all we get, is we get 2 meters. We have the push to talk on the side. On the other side, we have where our speaker mic goes, and again where that that cover screws on. Then at the top, we have a space for our B and C connector for our rubber antenna. Now, in order to use this, it is actually pretty simple. Despite not being an amazing radio, it does do 5.5 watts output on high. I think it's 2.5 on medium and 0.5 watt on low, is what this is advertised as. So to turn this on, we have our power button right here. Volume control on top. When you turn this on for the first time, the squelch is wide open. In order to adjust the squelch, because there is no squelch button, we have to hold down the monitor key, which is right here. And then you have to use the up and down arrows in order to turn the squelch up. So I'm going to turn it to 2. And that went ahead, close my squelch. Now I just have my monitor button. Now this does have a VFO mode that it starts off in. So if I want to go ahead and just type in a frequency, I can do that. So I can type in 14652. Down here is my enter key. I can hit enter. Now I'm on 146.52, which is the calling frequency. If I'd like to store a memory channel, again, pretty simple. Down here is my function key. If I go ahead and hit function, followed by the memory key, so we have one here that says VFO memory call. This is going to bring me to the space where I can select what channel I want it in. So right now it defaults to channel 0. So I can put this in channel 0 or channel 1. If I go down again, I'm going to be able to make this the call channel as well. So you can do a quick call through this. So if you hit that twice, it'll go to the call channel. So I'm going to put 14652 in the call channel. I'm going to go ahead and press function again. And then I'm going to hold down the memory key until it beeps. We get that double beep. Now this is programmed into the call channel. So if I press the memory VFO button, press it once, it brings me to memory mode. Press it twice, it goes to the quick call channel, which is 146.52. If I press it again, I get weather radio. Weather radio comes in really good on this. I'm in Chicago, so weather radio is going to come in really good pretty much with any radio. But it comes in really good on this, which I like, because some of the import radios, I've really had a problem receiving weather radio. Considering this is laying sideways inside my house right now, I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and program 146.52. I want to also save this to channel 0 because I want to be able to have it in my scan. So I'm going to press function, hold down memory once more until I get to the channel select. I want to put it on channel 0. Function, hold down memory, double beep, it is saved. I'm going to go ahead and save one more Simplex channel because one of the Simplex channels I use is 147.555. I use this for like talking with my friends. This is kind of like an old school. When I first got licensed, I talked with one of my friends across town that I got licensed with, Tom, KC9DDH. He let his license expire and renewed. I don't know what it is. Sorry, Tom. Me and Tom used to talk on 147.555, so I like to keep that one programmed just because. So I type in 147.555, function, memory. I'm going to put that in channel 1, function, hold down memory, double beep, it is programmed. So now if I go to memory mode, you can see here I have my 2 channels saved. Call channel, weather radio, VFO. Pressing function and number 8 brings us to our menu, and you can go through and scroll through all the menu options here. We have all the same stuff that we do on most radios. PL tones, timeout timers, DCS, offset, things like that. If you would like to get out of that, just go ahead and hit enter, and that will bring you back. Now, I want to go ahead and program one more thing in here, and that's going to be a repeater. The repeater I'm going to program today is actually not the North Shore Radio Club repeater, which I normally program in. It's going to be the repeater for the Chicago FM Club, because they have a really good 2-meter repeater in the Chicagoland area. So I'm going to type in there for the frequency, 146760. This is the output frequency of the Chicago FM Club. Now, this... one of the nice things about this radio is it has an auto offset. So if you are typing in a frequency that's normally in the repeater output range, it's going to say, oh, hey, I turned on the negative offset for you. So I don't know if you can see that. Maybe we come up here. There we go. You can see how it already put that negative right up in there. That shows that we are now, when I transmit, are going to transmit down 600 hertz, or at 146,160. All right, the one last thing we have to do is, this repeater does use a PL tone in order to access it. It uses a PL tone of 107.2. So we need to go ahead and turn that PL tone on. So in order to change that, I'm going to go into function, number 8, which is going to bring me back to my menu. And then I'm going to find the one that says RT. So we have CT, that's not what we want. We want RT. RT is going to be repeater tone. So that means it'll transmit a tone. And I'm gonna use I'm using my volume knob on top here to scroll through these until I hit 107.2. I'm gonna hit enter. I hit enter and now it's saved that in. Now the only thing we have to do is turn on the PL tone. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit function and number 1. Number 1 is going to go ahead and turn our tone on. See if I can bring that up again. You can see that. See how there's a little music note there on the left? That means we are now accessing that PL tone. So when we transmit, it will also transmit that PL tone. So this repeater is now set. I can't access this repeater from inside the house, so I'm not going to try. But I do want to go ahead and save this to my memory. So I'm going to go through the same process. Function, memory. I'm going to go ahead and put this on channel 2. Function, hold down memory. Double beep. Now we're on channel 2, and we have our repeater saved. So that's all it takes to program this radio. It's super simple. Once I go back to, if I go into memory mode, I can then channel through these. If I hit function and number 5, it will scan. So you can see here it's now scanning. Function number 5 will turn scan back off. Pretty easy. Pretty simple radio to use. Here I just hooked an adapter up to adapt the BNC here to our Surecom. This is our Surecom SW102. This is a VHF UHF. SWR and Wattmeter. So I currently have the radio back on 146.52. On this side, I have hooked up see here, hopefully. On this side I have hooked up a 25 watt dummy load. This is good. It says DC to 1 gigahertz. I only use it for VHF and UHF is the only thing I've ever used this for, so it just stays connected to the meter here. Now this meter, I've been pretty happy with it so far. Unfortunately, I'm not always the easiest on my gear, so I already have a scratch on it right here. Now in order to turn this on, I'm just going to go ahead and hold the power button. You have to hold the power button for a couple seconds, and then it will go ahead and turn on the display just like so. So here we have in the top right corner, this will display how many watts we're putting out. Here we'll display our SWR, which should be pretty close to 1. And then it's also going to display our frequency that we are transmitting on. So I want to go ahead and see how much power this is putting out on high. We currently have the radio on high power. I'm going to go ahead and key it up. So I'm currently putting out about 5.44 watts. Here you can see 146.52, and we have a SWR of 1, hopefully because we are transmitting it into a dummy load. So out of an advertised 5.5, we're getting 5.44, pretty good. Real happy with that. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this to medium power. In order to change the power level on this radio, function, and I'm gonna go ahead and hit number 9. I'm actually going to hit that twice to put it on medium. So I'm going to go ahead and key up and see what we're at. Again, we're going to have our power level right here. Power level 2.48. So again, 2.5 is supposed to be the power output, 2.48, pretty good. And then let's go ahead and check. I went ahead and put it on low power, and I'm going to check the low power setting as well. This is supposed to be 1/2 watt. We're getting about 0.3, so not a little off, but I don't know who's trying to put it on low power most of the time anyways. So we're getting 0.3 watts out on low power. So power output levels are pretty good. Again, I've got AA batteries in here that I'm nearly positive are new, but they might have a little use onto them, at least one of them maybe. So power output, pretty good. This is a pretty neat little device. Again, I'm pretty happy with this for VHF and UHF, especially testing these HTs like this. I'll put a link down in the description to an Amazon affiliate link where I got this from. Alright, so my next thing that I want to take a look at is the TinySA Ultra. This is a cool little device. This is a spectrum analyzer, but it's only about the size of my palm of my hand. Compare this to the size of my iPhone. About the same size, a little bit smaller. Now the TinySA Ultra has a couple things in it that we can take a look at. The first thing that we're going to use is going to be the spectrum analyzer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hook my radio into the input, and I'm going to transmit a signal, and the whole purpose is to see the purity of that signal. If we see a bunch of ups and downs, our signal's got some issues. That means we have harmonics, and our harmonics are transmitting at different frequencies outside of our intended frequency. The other thing that this can do is this has actually a signal generator as well, and I've got some videos coming up that I want to do messing around with this, where I'm going to use the signal generator to transmit a tone, and then I'm going to set up my radio to see if I can hear that tone. And then what I'm able to do is take the tone that's being transmitted and lower it or attenuate it by dB, by dB, by dB, until I'm no longer able to hear that tone. And then we can use that to compare receivers on different HTs. Today though, all I'm going to do is I'm going to use this to test the spectral purity, more or less, of our HT here. Now in order to do that, we cannot just blast this with 5 watts of power. we have to run it through an attenuator. So I talked to some people who said that this was an okay thing to do. If you have experience using one of these, let me know, because I'm a total noob and I'm just winging it. These are small attenuators, and I actually have two of them in line. One of them is a 40 dB attenuator. Let's see here. So this is a 40 dB 10 watt attenuator, and I just have that hooked straight in line with a 10 dB attenuator. So my goal is I would like to attenuate my signal 50 dB because running 5 watts of power, that should bring me down to, when I am testing this, to make sure if I do have harmonics, that I'm testing against what essentially is the FCC spurious emissions. So if I do have them, and there are spurious emissions, they need to be below a certain dB level. Now, being an Icom radio, I'm hoping I have little to no spurious emissions. But in order to test that, you need to attenuate the signal, and in order to not blow your TinySA up, you also need to attenuate your signal. So I am running 40, 10, and then just a cable here into the radio, and then this is going right into my TinySA. All right, so here I have my TinySA Ultra. So it is turned on. Up at the top here is our on-off switch, and we also have a little push button here. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and set the frequency. So when I go ahead and try to set my frequency here, I have my center set at 250. My stop is at 500, and my start is at 0 hertz. I'm stopping this at 500 megahertz, and I have it centered at 250. So that means my signal when I transmit should be right about here. All right, so the last thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and change this to display 4 markers. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to say marker. I'm going to say 4. I'm going to hit back again. I'm just going to tap out here. What that does is up top here, now we're going to see one of these. Marker 1 should be our signal, and then the other markers are going to show any higher signals or any signal that is displaying and what their signal strength is. So if we have harmonics, these will display what frequency those are transmitting at. So I have my radio set back to high power, and you can see it kind of jumping around. I'm going to go ahead and transmit, and we will see 146.52, as well as any harmonics, and hopefully we don't have any. There we go. So we see 146.52, which is this right here, this big signal. And then we have a couple small little things jumping around, but nothing's really like a spur. Nothing's really bad. So the spectral purity of this is really good because we are only transmitting on 146.52 with a couple real small just spurs happening randomly, and those could honestly be from anything. I stop transmitting and it goes away. One last thing I want to do, I'm going to go back to frequency, and we are going to say center, and I'm going to turn this to 146.52 megahertz, and then I'm going to make my span here. I'm just going to make this 1 megahertz. So all I'm looking at here is from 145 to about 147. And the reason for that is I want to see what that signal actually looks like as well. I'm going to go ahead and transmit again. So here you can see we have a nice strong signal centered right at 146.52. And it goes straight up, comes straight down. I think that's good. Again, I'm not an expert in this, but that looks good to me. So that's the TinySA Ultra. This is a really cool device, and hopefully I learn how to use it a little better. But I think this is one of the main reasons I got it, was to be able to test out some of these HTs, because I know I've hooked up at least one import HT to this, and man, it was like, you had the frequency, but then you had like bam, 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 spurs everywhere. And so it was transmitting a lot of bad harmonics. The Icom right here, Icom V-80, no harmonics. Really good spectral purity coming off that radio. So nice clean signal. I'll go ahead and put a link down in the description as well to which one I purchased. You got to be careful if you are buying some of these. From what I've heard is that there's a lot of fakes out there. This one does not seem to be a fake. I seem to be doing pretty well with it. So I'll put a link to the one that I bought, an Amazon affiliate link, in the description. So we come back to, is this a good radio? Is this a radio I would buy? Probably not, honestly. This radio, when it came out, I think it was $100-something for just a 2-meter HT. And honestly, that was kind of like, that was the thing. When I got my first HT, I was first licensed in 2002, and I went to a Hamfest, and I bought an HT that day, knowing that back before, you know, you got your license immediately, I had to wait a couple weeks for my license to show up in the mail, and I had an HT. It was a Yaesu FT23R. It was kind of like a brick, man. It was big. It was 2-meter only. And that's just kind of how HTs were back then. Dual band HT wasn't an affordable thing. You know, that radio that I had probably came out in the 80s or 90s. Even through the 2000s, there was a lot of just single band HTs out there. And there still are. There are people who just want a 2-meter HT for whatever reason. Now, Icom took this radio, the IC-V80, and they have an updated version of this radio. It is called the IC-V86. So they went up a couple numbers there. And at the time of recording, that radio is $129.99 on DX Engineering. So I'm going to compare this to the IC-V86. Would I buy the V86? No, I don't have use for a single band analog HT. Especially when I can go get, say, from Yaesu, the FT70DR, which is dual band, which is C4FM or System Fusion, and is a nice radio as well, for $179. So I'm spending $50 more, but I'm getting a lot more capabilities. My daily HT that I carry with me in the car and stuff like that is the Yaesu FT3. Really happy with it, but you know, these serve a purpose. They are 2-meter. They do what they are told to. They do their job. Now, the downsides to this radio, it's got AA batteries in it. You know, that's not something I want to keep lugging around AA batteries for. It is only 2-meter. It is 144 to 148 megahertz, and weather band. That's it. The display on this radio, not great. It's like a calculator. So, you know, we have all these new radios, especially with Icom having the 52, Kenwood announcing their TH75. But at the same time, you know, you're looking at $500, $600, $700+ radio for the new Kenwood. So you get what you can afford. You know, if all you need is a 2-meter HT, maybe it's a good one for you. So the last thing, if you would like to win one of these radios before we wrap up, in order to enter the giveaway, you need to do a couple things. One, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, so I'd love to give this away to one of my subscribers. Second thing, I'm going to put a Google form down below. Go ahead and fill out that Google form. It's going to ask you a couple questions like your name, your call sign, and your mailing address. Please make sure you are in the United States, because I do not want to ship these international, because they're like $35 radios nowadays. I don't want to spend $50 to ship a $30 radio. So this will be for United States hams only. The very last thing, no duplicate entries. I'm going to go through and remove any duplicate entries from the forms. And I'll give this like 2 weeks, and in 2 weeks I'll do another video. And in that video, I'll go ahead and draw numbers live, and I will pick them off of the list of people, and I'll ship those out to those after I contact them. So this is just my thank you to all of you for being subscribers, And once we hit 1,500, I've got more stuff to give away. So, till next time, all, 73.